Good Wednesday morning, East Tennessee. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of Captain Accurate Weather, coming to you by way of the Captain Accurate Weather Command Center on behalf of Madlock Tire and Auto Repair. Madlock Tire and Auto Repair since 1953. You may need a whole new set of tires after we go through a winter storm. You never know, because you need reliable tires that can hit you through the day and year, because any time of the year you also need an oil change, and they can also give you some great service. They're in Knoxville, they're in Maryville, they're in Lenoir City, Athens, and Hardin Valley. They have 5 convenient locations. They've been serving East Tennessee for what now, the 72nd year, 72 years. You know they're doing something right. Madlock Tire Service and Auto Repair is definitely a place to go if you are in need of an oil change. And this is what one of their locations looks like, Lenoir City. Very, very cool. Glad to have them as a sponsor here at this time. But notice the interesting weather, and there is a lot of interesting weather. I can go back to the live stream here. Let me go back to the full screen. Yes, we are now at 6:43. I got a good check on the time. The last thing I noticed, or the first thing I noticed this morning, was the National Weather Service has now issued a winter storm watch. What does that mean? How does that impact my life? Well, the answer is it does. It's going to significantly change your lifestyle. If you're used to going to the movies on a Friday night, you may decide, I'm just going to stay home and watch Netflix. If that's the thing, that's cool, because it's probably better that you're not on the roads when the anticipation is, and that's not a misprint, that's a quote from the National Weather Service in Morristown, it's 3 to 7. Now, we're going to examine some of the data here in a moment. It may not be 6 or 7 for most. It might be more like 3 to 4 for most, but even still, 3 at a minimum, which is what I said in my video last night, 3 at a minimum would certainly catch your attention and would also perhaps make you think twice before getting on the roads, because bridges and overpasses, they can be very slippery too. Nothing to see here, although there could be a few flakes still in the area. There have been a few stray flakes from the radar, which we'll look at here momentarily. But I want to show you at least the review. This is over the last 8 hours, and it really was about 3:30 in the morning that they decided to issue the winter storm watch for our local area. It was already in effect last night for Memphis, for Jackson, Tennessee, but now as of about 3:30 this morning, you would have been notified if you have the free Captain Accurate weather app. Very interesting to note the temperature this morning has varied. I noticed Wartburg just went from 19 to 20 in the last few minutes. Clouds rolled in, and certainly temperatures haven't cooled much. From 8 o'clock last night, it was 25 degrees in Knoxville at 8 p.m., and here we are at 6:44 in the morning, and it's still about 24. So there hasn't been much movement at all, given all the things that we've been seeing. A couple of notes. Want to say hello to Steve Stone. He is on here. He's one of my first, let's say usually the first comment usually received here. He's on YouTube because I am live streaming on both. Steve Stone says, good morning. Snow on the ground 2 days in Rockford. Well, there you go. And Michael Hawk is also on YouTube. Want to give him a shout out. Love his picture there. He says, good morning, Captain. Is the snow I smell? Yeah, it's probably so. You know it's in the air. I mean, today's going to be kind of like a little tease if you see a few flakes in the air. But the main event's going to start around midday on Friday. I'll talk more about that here momentarily. Back on Facebook, I got Karen Robbins. She wants to say, good morning, David. It's an extra chilly 19 degrees here in Fairfield Glade. Hope you all are staying warm and hunkering down for this weekend's weather. Stay safe. And Carrie Aguilar, also one of my premium members, she says, good morning. Hope everybody stay safe and warm. Thank you, David, for keeping us updated. My pleasure. I do have an update weather observation. Always appreciate those too. Wherever I can put those on there. You can see Fred's in Blount County. He has 24 degrees, and he's got some flurries in the air as well. So lots of interesting weather. We're going to get more to comments here in just a moment, but I want to get you out the door this morning here on a Wednesday. It is, did I tell you it's Elvis's birthday? Yay, Elvis. He's 90. Well, he would have been 90. I've seen him in Vegas on occasion, but he kind of wanders. He looks great for 90. You got to say that. Elvis looks great at 90 if you've seen him maybe in Las Vegas. He has appearances from time to time. But 23 current temperature in Knoxville, or actually 23 in Morristown. We got 24 in Knoxville, 22 in Maryville. Gives you a sense. But there's some wind. Clearly, when you have some wind, it's going to take the feels like temperature down. A lot colder. Again, 24 is the current temperature. We've got 5 miles an hour for the wind, and if you do the calculation, it feels like it's 18. So even though it's not actually 18, it feels like it's 18 if you're pumping gas. If you're having to fill up your tank this morning and you have to stand still for 2, 3, 4 minutes, it'll cut through you. And where you see purple in the Smokies, that represents single-digit wind chills. So it's very cold, even just a 5-mile-an-hour wind. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much, but it does, in fact, affect those who have to be out in it. Visibility, not much of an issue as far as fog. There might be some areas in gray, but I mentioned some flakes, and I heard a little note from Fred. He's got a flurry or two. This is what we're seeing on the composite radar. When you overlay the clouds, satellite imagery, and the radar, this is the composite radar, you get a better sense of some of those flakes. The flakes are so small, they're so minute, they're so tiny. Sometimes the radar doesn't easily pick it up, but there's a good sense that there's a few flakes in the area. And this too shall pass. Is this the start of Friday's event? No, 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 no. This is just a tease. A little tease to give you a sense that we're going to get what they call a significant winter storm. A significant winter storm may not reach the same caliber that we had last January, which we'll revisit in the days to come here. But given the fact that 3 to 7 is on the table, hopefully it's caught your attention. Yesterday's high, by the way, was 33. Today I'm expecting 34. So if we're pretty close to where we were, some of you might actually be a touch cooler, if not colder. I'm looking at Crossville, 29, Jamestown, Fentress County, 26, and in Morristown, 32. These are my expectations for highs today, so I just want to give you a sense of what's going on. I got a couple of notes here. Come back on camera. I'm a note taker. You probably know that by now. Anyway, what can I tell you? We hit 33 yesterday. Our low was 25, but that occurred as late as 9:47 in the evening. So it's kind of weird that we got, well, gradually colder in the nighttime. Gust of wind yesterday was 20. We had a trace of snow yesterday. Normal high and low is 48. So if we're at 34, we're going to be about 14 degrees at a minimum. 14 degrees below normal today. And the normal low is 30. Obviously, many of you are much colder than 30 right now. The record high is 72, 1937, that's FDR era. 2000, Bill Clinton era. And then -1, the record low from 1970, Richard Nixon area. So if you're back a long time ago. So you've got some interesting statistics, you've got some stats, and you also have perspective. Want to get into the snow event that's coming in on Friday. But we have a thing that we call in weather, first things first. We got to get through today. Yes, we do. We have to get through tonight. Yes, we do. And we have to get through Thursday. So there's still some time to prepare for what could be a little bit of a hiccup, more than a hiccup, a storm that might actually slow you down in some significant way. It would appear that every county in the state of Tennessee is now under a winter storm watch. A winter storm watch. In fact, we'll go ahead and move this off. I don't think we need lightning at this stage, but I can tell you that where you see Knoxville, we had some flakes, some flurries. It would appear at this time, move this over there, yeah, it would appear that this runs until 7 o'clock on Saturday morning. That's interesting, because that's exactly what I said would start. Midday on Friday, would be out of here by about 7 o'clock Saturday morning. Could be gone as early as 4 or 5 a.m., because it's going to be moving out from west to east. So it's not like it's going to ruin your Saturday as far as what's, because it's going to stop snowing, but the snow will already be on the ground. The damage will be done, and the roads will be slippery and very, very poor in the days to come. Certainly as we move into Friday, into Saturday, you might be feeling like I got to hunker down and stay home, and that's okay. We'd rather have you safe than on the roads if you're not skilled in driving in the snow conditions. And certainly we've got snow continuing this morning in Ohio, West Virginia, and Kentucky. And you can see, if you look at the bigger picture, there's concerns for, well, it looks like winter weather, even in Arkansas and just north of Dallas. Do my eyes deceive me? Yeah, that's Texas. They've got a winter storm warning. They're worried about snow, maybe some ice too. And I don't want to rule out the fact that there's still the possibility that we could see a little bit of a mix to start, like 3 or 4 hours, and then it goes right to snow. So that could cut down on potential totals. That's why I'm right now leaning toward that 3-4 inch total. 3 at a minimum, 4 plus for most of us in the valley. That's my early expectation. I will let my premium members know first and foremost what I expect later today. Knoxville rainfall, we've picked up over an inch for the month so far, and that's including the trace that we received yesterday. But today's the 8th of January. You can see we're off to a rip-roaring start for cold weather fans. Look at that. 7 straight days below normal. And today will be day number 8. So you have to give January props. It is the snowiest month of the year for a reason, on average. Climatologically speaking, this is the month we get snow. And this is the month that many of us remember from last year, which was a very remarkable snow because it got so cold thereafter. It didn't want to necessarily disappear all that quickly. Temperature right now, 24 degrees in Knoxville, 26 degrees in Chattanooga. Got some other comments. I want to see if I can put them back on the screen. I got a Felicia Sexton Moyers is actually on here. Did I say that right? She may have said Felicia Moyers Sexton, excuse me, saying had some water dripping all week, heading to the grocery store today. Not a bad idea, but again, most of us are going to be able to get out in short order. Once the snow ends, I think a lot of folks feel a little more confident that the roads, once they're treated, you can get where you need to be. Wanda Poe says, David, will the storm have any winds? Good question. It's not going to be terribly bad. Nothing like the real concern that we've had before, but clearly it's going to be greater than 10 or 15. But we'll be watching that closely as it pulls out of town on Saturday morning. I got another note from Lana Johnson. She's in Kodak saying, good morning, everyone. Stay safe or be safe. Very thankful for her as well. All right, it is 6:52. We're getting to the good part. We're getting to the part that some of you are like, I don't even want to talk about today. But let's talk about your car. Because every car, every vehicle that you have, car or truck, needs an oil change, or should get an oil change in a timely manner. And who else to do that than the folks who are experts on tires? Because let's face it, your local choice for new tires and auto repair since 1953 is Madlock. Madlock is the place to go. Their website is madlocktires.com. They have a location in Knoxville, Maryville. They're in Lenoir City. They're in Athens. Oh, yes, great location in Hardin Valley as well. East Tennessee's #1 tire service and auto repair since 1953. And when you go there, tell them Captain Accurate sent you. People say, oh, that doesn't make a difference. Yes, it does. To my platform, it does. So let them know. I saw you on Captain Accurate. I need an oil change. I'm coming to you. They would love to hear that. They would love it. Anybody, whether you're in Athens, whether you're in Lenoir City, Maryville, or the Knoxville location, tell them that you heard them on Captain Accurate's platform because they like the feedback. Who wouldn't? Who would? If you were a business owner, you would love to get that kind of feedback as well. 18 degrees is the feels like temperature right now, but 24 is the actual temperature. We look at the temperatures around the state and around the country. There's a lot of winter still to play out here as I'm looking at those purple areas in the Midwest, all the way up to Minneapolis, single digits across the board. It's 0 right now in Bismarck, North Dakota. You say, oh, that's for the birds. 0. Who wants to be 0? I don't, but I'll tell you it doesn't feel like 0. It feels like -10. -10 is the feels like right now, or wind chill, in Bismarck, North Dakota. And sometimes that cold air that we see advertised away from here, it comes down here in modified form. It gets modified, but it's still very cold for this time of year because the normal high is 48 and the normal low is 30 this time of year. We're nowhere near that. But when we were in the 60s, back around Christmas or around Christmas, nobody had any major complaints. But now it's like, it's complaint #1. This weather is for the birds. Well, it is for the birds, but maybe it's for the other folks who like to hunker down. Maybe Team Snow is cheering on this cold air. We'll have to wait and see how it finally plays out. Sunrise and sunset on your screen. We're now adding about a minute of length of day. The length of day, still 24 hours, Aldrich. I know, but the daylight is now adding about a minute, so our sun's up at 7:46 and goes to bed at 5:39. Let's break it down. Headlines: stray flakes, clouds, hazy sun today. Bright sunshine tomorrow. Tomorrow's like I hope you're getting ready for what's coming Friday, because there'll be very little to talk about weather-wise tomorrow, except that we'll all be looking ahead to the next day. Snow showers should begin midday Friday. My urging of you is to get all your errands done before 11 a.m. My suggestion, if you're in the Knoxville area or if you're in a county that borders Knox County, you want to be where you need to be around 11 a.m. It's going to come in from the southwest, so it's going to affect places like Spring City, Crossville much sooner. It'll affect Dunlap, some areas a lot sooner, but it's going to come in from the south and west, and we want you to be prepared. Once it starts, it's going to just come down very steadily. The roads will get worse and worse as we hit maybe 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it may hit a crescendo between, say, 7 and 11 p.m. Let me say that again. It may reach a fever pitch. Man, it's coming down. Yeah, it's coming down, especially between 7 and 11 o'clock Friday night. But it will wind down between the hours of 4 a.m. and 7. 4 a.m., 7 a.m. Saturday, it's pulling out. There's not much left to see. But what I want to show you here as I hit the go button here is this is model data, not a forecast. We've already heard what the Weather Service is expecting, which is a general 3 to 7. That's, when they're talking about all the counties in East Tennessee, all the nooks and crannies, nooks and crannies. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. All the nooks and crannies and the topographical effects, the orographical effects, the mountains, the valleys, the peaks, the hollers. You take it all that 3 to 7 seems probably reasonable. But let me show you what the data suggests this morning. And again, it's going to change. And if we get some mixing, it's going to be a lot smaller or fewer numbers. Numbers will be less. This one suggests at a minimum 3 inches, which is what I've stated, not only to my premium members, but to you as well last night. At a minimum 3 inches, but could be more likely 4+ for many areas. And if there's some mixing, these numbers will go down. So it's not the 8.5 that we had last January, as some would like to immediately connect dots because every storm's different. But this would suggest that we're going to get some snow. This is not my forecast. I'm just presenting to you the data, which you can gather online. Someone's going to post this type online. And so I just try to give you some sense. I'm trying to guide you through the information that this is still a work in progress. It's going to change again tomorrow. And I think many people who are in the weather community, they're more eager to see tomorrow's data than they are today. Today's great, but tomorrow's data is going to be better because you're closer to the event. You see what I mean? So we're in that situation where it's evolving. You got to stay tuned and also listen to school closings and early dismissals as they may be applicable in the days to come. Valley Planner here at 6:58. I got to keep moving. Stray flakes, clouds to some hazy sun. We're looking for a high around 34, and that should arrive between, say, 2 and 4 o'clock this afternoon. Normal high is 48. No doubt here that we've got now an 80% chance of snow on Friday. Really gets ramped up in those hours of 4 p.m., 7 p.m., 11 p.m., and then it starts to taper off as you wake up on Saturday morning. Storm Prediction Center really not highlighting much of the way of thunder activity. Some may be found in West Texas. Clearly, there's no coloring in Tennessee, which would suggest there's no thunderstorms and there's no severe weather either today or tomorrow. Some of the thunderstorms may move into Houston on Thursday, while we have a mostly sunny day, bright sunshine for Thursday. But by Friday, some of the thunderstorms will be down toward Destin, Florida, perhaps southern Georgia, but again, not here. We're not expecting any thunder snow. No, that won't be here. That'll be well to the south if there's any at all, because they will have probably more rain in Florida. By the way, Futurecast shows a few flakes that are trying to move out of the area this morning. Notice how it moves up toward Charleston and into the mountains of West Virginia. By the time we hit 5 o'clock, we have maybe more sunshine, and there will be some partly to mostly cloudy skies for the evening, but overnight tonight should be clearing out nicely as that big blue H slides into Arkansas and Mississippi. We'll find a bright sun-filled day, and then by Thursday night, Friday morning, again, timing is everything. Look at that, that's 7:50. That looks like snow headed this way. Yes, but did you notice the pink in Huntsville? Oh, so now you understand the forecast dilemma. It's not always clear-cut. It will eventually be snow, but how much of that pink in Huntsville makes it to Tellico Plains? How much of that pink makes it to Knoxville? Some models still hint that we start off with freezing rain, and then it goes to snow. So it's going to be the devil's in the details. The devil's in the details of getting that fine-tuned, as it could be very likely a wet snow during the middle of the day. You see some green there in Knoxville, but eventually it'll go back to all snow, and I think certainly 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it's coming down to buckets. But there's a hint there that we got pink even in East Tennessee. So a little bit of a mix could throw a monkey wrench into your expectations. That's why I can tell you what the Weather Service is saying, 3 to 7, but right now I'm 3 inches minimum with more likely a 4+ for the valley. Does that help you? I hope it does. I hope it helps you in a big way. And you know what might also help you is the Matlock Tire Service and Auto Repair, because they've been serving East Tennessee since 1953. They have 5 convenient locations. Check them out at matlocktireservice.com. Very thankful to have them as a sponsor, but many of you will need an oil change, if not now, in the next month, 2 months, maybe 3 months or more. You might need an oil change for your truck or your vehicle, your car. Check them out, Matlock Tire Service and Auto Repair. So we're going to wrap things up here at 7:01 as the snow pulls away, and it will eventually on Saturday morning. There may be some stray flakes, but the worst will be finally over once we start the day on Saturday, the 11th of January. By the way, for today, stray flakes, clouds, giving way to some hazy sun, winds about 5 to 10 today. High temperature of 34 for Kingston, 36 for Athens, looking for a high in Newport of 34. If you're traveling today, and some of you might be headed to Atlanta, look for a sunny day there at 40. 50 for Augusta, but only 23 with clouds in Lexington, Kentucky. Tonight we're down to a very cold 16. How could we get there? We have to have these clouds clear out, and there's a good indication that we will clear out overnight. So evening clouds, think of it as like a partly to mostly cloudy sky, will give way to clearing skies overnight, and our temperatures should tumble down to about 16. Some may drop to 12. Oneida, Scott County, giving you a shout out, might drop to 12 in Crossville, or even 13 in Sevierville. Those are my expectations for tonight. And as far as your Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast for Knoxville, East Tennessee, I left the stray flakes in for today. Cold sunshine tomorrow, about 33. Temperatures aren't going to move much. If we're lucky, we're in the mid-30s, even down the road, with overnight lows in the teens, which means at least the snow that sticks. And in the grass, will be for some good sledding for the kiddos. I think a lot of kids would love to have some snow this January. Maybe they get it's a 3-day weekend. Isn't that cool? A 3-day weekend. Just go ahead and plan on it mentally, because that might help you as you make your plans. Just know that some of that's going to obviously affect you. By the way, if you want to check out Madlock Tire Service and Auto Repair, they're in Lenoir City. They're in 5 different locations, but one of the great things about them is that they have been the local choice for new tires and auto repair since 1953. Glad to have them as a sponsor. Next time you need an oil change, be thinking about Madlock Tire Service and Auto Repair. Family owned and operated. They've been serving East Tennessee for now, 72 years. So it's really cool to have Madlock around. Well, my name is David Aldrich. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate, so weather doesn't surprise you. More updates to come. Stay tuned this afternoon and tonight. We'll see you here next time. Take care.